Hello, hello. It is PR in a Car with me, Rich Lee, of the Radioactive Group and Radioactive PR. I'm not just a PR in a car today. I'm a PR in a car in a hat. Reason being, I've just been on a motorbike for a couple of hours and I have some serious helmet hair, and I would not subject you guys to that. I wouldn't do it to myself. So, yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube, you will see my large face topped off with my favourite hat, actually. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you haven't rated yet, how dare you? 5 stars, pretty please. No, if you're listening and you think, actually, I'd quite like to see, might be interesting to watch it, then I always put them up on YouTube as well. Today, I'm going to be talking about creative PR and creative marketing in general. This podcast would be great for anybody, from students, business owners, people that work in PR, potentially, people that want to work in PR or marketing. If you're thinking, if you work in-house and you're thinking of doing more creative campaigns and creative marketing, maybe this is for you, fingers crossed. It follows a talk I gave yesterday at Gloucestershire Uni to the Masters Group, invited in by Malcolm Bradbrook, the lecturer, and the session was with Claire Cunningham, another lecturer at the uni. And this is the second year in a row I've done it. I've talked at a few different universities and companies and conferences and things like that about creative PR and other things, but this is something that I love coming back to because it's something I genuinely enjoy. I got into PR in 2018. No, I didn't. What a liar. I got into PR in 2008 and quite quickly realised that the creative side of things is something I loved. And one of the first stunts that I saw was a stunt by Capcom to promote Resident Evil. I forget which one it was now, possibly Resident Evil 4, I forget, the video game. And for anybody that knows, Resident Evil is about zombies and kind of this apocalyptic scenario where you've got to kill a load of zombies, don't get killed, etc. And an agency, the name of which I forget, was behind this stunt where body parts were hidden around London. And I forget the mechanic, I'm forgetting a lot apparently, but it was, you collect X body parts and you get Y thing. First person to collect this many body parts gets something. It was something like that. Well, it did really, really well from a coverage perspective. Yeah, good fun. And there was a second bump when the agency came out and said, no, wait, not all of the body parts have been found. They're realistic looking. Not all of the body parts have been found. We don't want some kid stumbling upon this thing and there's an actual limb. I now realise, again, 12 years later, that chances are that was just PR in and of itself. And that was always the plan. Well done. But as I looked at that, I thought, and this is when I wasn't long, not long been in PR at this point, I thought, I genuinely can't believe that you can get paid to come up with this stuff and action this stuff. And I've always enjoyed the consumer side of things and the brand side of things of PR, and this opened my eyes to it. And the person behind that, or one of the people behind that, was a guy called Matt Muir, that some of you will know, M-U-I-R, and Matt is a PR person, unhappily so, but he's very, very talented, and I got to chat to him around that time. I just contacted him as soon as I saw the stunt and saw that he had some involvement, and I said, absolutely love this. Can you believe that we get paid to do this kind of thing? And I'm sure that he grunted and said, fuck off, Rich. And now we're good friends. Matt actually writes something called Web Curios on Empirica. And if you don't already, do head off now to empirica.com, subscribe to their newsletters, and get Web Curios every Friday. It's fantastic. It kind of centres around advertising or advert marketing PR or whatever the word is that Matt uses for it. But it's fantastic and caustic and just far too many words every Friday and far too much internet for one man. But he distills it, kind of gives you an idea of what's out there, what good things are going on, and what bad things are going on, etc., etc. While I'm on the note of recommendations, yesterday at the talk at the uni, I had a question about where to find other campaigns, and there is a site that I started in 2012 called PR Examples. PR Examples became one of the UK's it was named the UK's best PR blog a few years in a row. I think at one point we had 65,000 uniques. I don't know what it's doing now, but there were 85,000 PR people in the UK, so people from other countries, etc. But it was very well read, and PR Examples is essentially a compendium of the best stunts and campaigns that PR has to offer and marketing has to offer. So great brand creative. If you're looking for inspiration or to have a bit of a laugh or to keep your eye in, or you're going for a job interview and you want to swat up on what somebody's doing, or you're pitching for a client and you want to know what people in their space have done. And that was kind of the reason I created it. And and it also, again, just to help me keep my eye in, and because I genuinely enjoy this stuff. It's now called famouscampaigns.com and is owned by James Herring. I sold that last year or the year before to James, who's a fantastic person to take it on. And famouscampaigns.com is a great place to go. You've also got Trend Hunter. The kind of site usability is not amazing, but they've always got good stuff on there. And where else? The Drum and PR Moments, good about PR, and places like that. Fantastic resources and kind of places for inspiration as well. And PR Week's got its regular campaigns of the week and all that jazz. So yeah, there's plenty out there. Which leads me on to the points I wanted to make about creativity. There are 4 things I think every good stunt, every good creative campaign has in common, and I'm going to talk you through them now. And this is one of the elements of the talk I gave yesterday. Number 1, you want your idea to be explainable in a sentence. So you want to be able to distill it and say it in a headline, in a sentence. So every time we're coming up with ideas as a team, and or let's say you're coming up with an idea and you're in the shower or you're in the bath, or I don't know why the cleanliness. Let's say you're in the shower or you're on the bus, or you're just walking through the park, and you might have this flash of brilliance and creativity and think, right, that's a fantastic idea. Well, is it explainable in a sentence? Because if not, and you pick up the phone to a journalist, or you pitch a journalist by email, and it's complex and convoluted in all the wrong ways, and isn't easily explainable, they're just not going to have the time for it. They want something that is quick, short, sharp. And then you think about it, that makes sense. How's it going to fit in a tweet, in a post on Facebook, all of that. So explainable in a sentence. If you're coming up with a creative idea, so body parts hidden around London in zombie treasure hunt. That's short, sharp. It says what it is. You say that to a journalist, they're going to go, carry on, or they're going to open that email. The second thing that I think is incredibly important, because I've seen a lot of good ideas wasted through this not being followed, is ensure that the idea is relevant to your client's products and or services. Basically, does it relate well enough to the brand? If you go onto Famous Campaigns right now, there'll be both ideas that relate really, really well, and there'll be a handful that don't necessarily. The ones that do are going to be the ones that do the most for you or your client. So make sure your idea relates to your client. And I know it sounds so obvious, but very often I've seen it where somebody's just got a good idea and they almost don't care who uses it, and they kind of try and shoehorn in this idea. Try not to do that. Thirdly, make sure it's visual. So think about that. Think, well, this idea, how can it be represented visually? And create that content, or ensure that you've got that, because that's what's going to help something really share well. Journalists want it to. They don't just want text-based, they want something where you've got some assets to share with them. 4, and this is especially in 2020, where clients are not necessarily putting as much budget to like stunts as they perhaps once did, but they still want to, they still want to be noisy, they still want to be known for something, and you don't always have to spend that much money to, for good creative PR and good creative stunts. The 4th thing I wanted to talk about is measurement. How are you going to measure the impact of this stunt creative campaign on your work for your client? Is it driving traffic? Is it driving app downloads? Is it increasing site visibility by getting a raft of links for your client? What's it doing, and how are you measuring it? Don't think about that afterwards. Don't try and justify yourself after the fact. Think about right now. If you're coming up with an idea for a client right now, think, how do we measure this the other end? Because and just saying, oh, it was seen by this many people on Twitter, we think, isn't good enough, because that's a kind of an output measurement, not an outcome measurement. An outcome measurement is something that, let's say you were spending 10 grand a month on PR. Let's say that you were spending X thousand pounds on this stunt from an agency. What do you want it to do? I guarantee you want more than just, a few people talked about it. Increasingly, even the biggest brands don't have the budget and kind of inclination for brand awareness stuff. Certainly not as they used to. So, measurement. So those 4 things again. 1, explainable in a sentence. 2, make sure it's relevant to the product or the service or the business that you are trying to promote. 3, make sure you've got something visual, hopefully more than one thing that's visual, to really try and get that kind of coverage and social shares from it. 4, make sure it's measurable. If you've got those 4 things, and if you're looking at an idea, a campaign concept, if you've got those 4 things, then you're doing very well. I should say the guys at the uni were fantastic, just a lovely bunch. Those times where you say, oh, any questions or any thoughts, and then you try and lead, and there was no dead space. There was no time where they weren't thoughtful, kind of inquisitive, and all those things. So it was a pleasure to do that. A pleasure to be there. As I say, I've spoken at a few conferences and universities and the like now. So if if you're paying the big bucks, I joke. Just get in touch, and perhaps there's something there. On which note, please do ask me anything. And I've had a few people on Reddit, a good few people on Twitter, both publicly and privately, and people to my email. So Twitter, Rich Lee, Leigh PR, and email rich@radioactivepr.com. People getting in touch with questions, thoughts, requests. If you are, if you've got any questions about creative PR, about stunts, and maybe stuff I've done, I've probably done hundreds of, what I would define as creative campaigns. Other people might not, who knows? Probably done hundreds of them now. I think Famous Campaigns was PR Examples, has 3,000 plus posts on it, maybe more. So if you're looking for something, let's say you are pitching for, a fast food brand, go on to that that site and type in the search fast food or food or anything like that. There's probably a campaign for most sectors, most types of clients now on that site. So that's something. Please do get in touch. I want to, as many people in the industry do, I want to continue to kind of give back to the industry in any way I can, with tips, with with kind of supporting people as they progress in the industry. You might notice, if you're watching this on YouTube, I am filming horizontally this time. Now, this is because my brother Rob, if you are listening, thank you very much. My brother Rob is doing film, and he near enough, well, he just told me off basically, and said, "What you doing? Why are you doing it? Film horizontally, not bad." So that's what I'm doing. Rob spent kind of 15 years as a bouncer, and he's kind of had quite the career change. He basically said, "I don't want to be stuck outside in the cold anymore, getting swung out by drunk idiots." So yeah, he's kind of pursuing, a real passion of his in film, and I think I was very much upsetting him. But yeah, thank you as ever for listening. Thank you as ever for watching. I really appreciate all of the support. And as I touched on in the last podcast, I'm kind of doing this to learn. I'm doing this to see, what comes of it. But I've got other ideas and other formats too, other things I'd like to do, both for clients and for myself. So, watch this space. But while you are watching this space, please do again go. It's not a massive hardship to do this. Obviously, it's just me banging on while driving. But there is some editing time that goes into it and all of that. So I would really, really appreciate any reviews. Let's get this. Up those leaderboards or whatever they're called, and on YouTube, just again, really grateful for shares and all that stuff. All right, I think that is me done. Hopefully the mic is better. I bought another mic, so fingers crossed this one is working better than the others that we've had in the past. I shall see you all later on. Goodbye forever. Goodbye.